Let's talk some Detroit Lions with MicroMike, baby. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar special guest today, fan favorite of the show, MicroMike, joining us to talk about some Detroit Lions. Be sure to hit him up. Lions Talk with MicroMike. Check him out on YouTube. Over 22,000 subs. Check him out on Twitter at MicroMike85. We've had MicroMike on a handful of times, and what we want to know what to expect from the Lions. They're going to be better. They're going to be worse. And MicroMike is going to give us the lowdown. Mr. MicroMike, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, appreciate it, man. This is my favorite Vikings channel. I love this channel. Anytime you want me on, love it. Your subscribers, they're realistic and really cool. I love talking NFC North, and let's get this show started.
Yeah, we're going to be doing this with every NFC North team. What better way to start than with you? But let's just hop right into it. Initial thoughts. I mean, just high level. Going into the season, like not really fan expectations, but from your side of things, what are you expecting from the Lions? What they have, 3 wins last year?
3 wins last year. I expect the Detroit Lions to have around 7 to 8 wins. I think we added some quality talent. DJ Shark, we picked up in free agency. He's looking really good in OTAs and minicamp, and now in training camp, it just continues. Him and Jared Goff really doing that deep bomb you like to see. Jameson Williams, who we drafted, we actually traded up with the Minnesota Vikings. He's not practicing yet. I expect him probably to come in after our bye week of week 6, but he's explosive. So he's going to be a dynamic player for the Detroit Lions. The Lions are showing a lot of grit. They have more talent on this roster, and 7-8 wins is realistic this year.
So we'll forever be linked with Williams. I can't, we'll see how that pans out. I hope it pans out very badly for you. I love you, but that trade will haunt the Vikings. Could possibly haunt the Vikings for years. But just overall, I mean, the Lions' mystique of just being this horrible team, front office, blah, blah, blah. Do you think that is maybe you guys are starting to get over the hump?
Yeah, we're starting to get over the hump right now. If you looked at the end of last season, Jared Goff was three wins, 1 loss. We're 3 for 3. The team was fighting. We just didn't have the talent. The talent was subpar. They got a lot of talent in this year from the draft, quality draft, I felt like, for the Lions. Getting Aiden Hutchinson to finally have a face on this defensive line, it just helps out the rest of the young players. Lee McNeil, he's a very good defensive tackle, big guy, stop the run. Levi Muzurike, second year, he was injured last year. Then we get Joshua Pascal. So the defensive line is getting young and talent. The secondary we have a lot of quality players in the secondary. Jeffrey Okudah so far in training camp, he's been a dog. He's staying with his wide receivers, knocking the ball down. If he can stay healthy, it should be an upgrade at the corner position. Safety, we upgraded with Kirby Joseph. Afutu Malafanu, who we drafted last year, converted to safety. So the defense is getting better. The offensive line is stacked. Feel like we got a top 5 offensive line. Everybody's healthy for the first time ever. TJ Hawkinson healthy for our tight ends or wide receiver core. Night and day from last year. Last year's absolute gutter cheeks. This year, I'm telling you, they're pretty good. They're depth. We don't got names, big names like the Minnesota Vikings, like Jefferson and Thielen. Like those guys are freaking studs. But we got a hell of a depth from wide receiver 1 all the way to 6.
Disclaimer, anytime on our show when we say cheeks, this is where it came from. This is the man who put cheeks in our mouth. That did not come out great. But Jared Goff, future placeholder, what are you thinking? Is this the year you figure that out?
There's no excuses for Jared Goff this year. Last year's mulligan, he had nothing to help him out. Let's be honest here. It was just the talent around him was bad. This year, he has talent. We got a top 5 offensive line, in my opinion. We got wide receivers and tight ends. The defense is upgraded. This is the year to figure it out. If he somehow manages to get the Detroit Lions to the playoffs, which I don't expect, by the way, but if he was to elevate his game to that point, I think he potentially could be the quarterback of the future. But if we're a 7-8 win football team, like I expect, I would expect the Detroit Lions to go into next year's draft with 2 first-round draft pick, potentially to get a CJ Stroud or a Bryce Young or a Will Levis, somebody to be the face of this franchise. This last draft, we didn't get a quarterback. They pushed everything towards Jared Goff to give it an opportunity to succeed. So I think this is an evaluation year. I do believe next year he's still here, because if we draft a quarterback, let him sit behind Goff. My personal opinion, I don't believe he's the future quarterback, but hell, who knows what happens in the season, you know?
Detroit Lions, I got to be honest. I'm a little scared of them guys this year. I mean, shit, we lost to them last year. So Lions are on the heels. But what you mentioned, offensive line a couple times, is a big strength. What do you consider the biggest strength for the Lions in 2022?
Offensive line right there. No doubt about it. I think we got 3 Pro Bowlers on this offensive line, and everybody's healthy. Frank Ragnow's back. Taylor Decker's back. Penei Sewell, year 2. He's a stud. You seen it last year, what he was doing. And the guards are no slouches either. I was talking to Lomas Brown, Hall of Famer for the Detroit Lions, and he said that Big V, Halapuluti Vaitai, our guard, was the best offensive lineman last year. And Jonah Jackson, he's a Pro Bowler as well on the left side. No doubt these guys are maulers. These are brawlers, and it's going to be built in the trenches. But I say our second group, there's the defensive line. Again, with the trenches, Aiden Hutchinson, Romeo Akwara, Levi, Aleem McNeil, Charles Harris is healthy. So I think the Lions trenches they're going to make people fear them a little bit this year.
What is cheeks on the Lions? What is your biggest weakness?
It's linebacker. Linebacking core for the Lions is absolute terrible. Their cheeks. I personally feel like we really don't have a starter even on one player for the linebacker. Alex Anzalone, he's our number 1 linebacker. Wow. That's not saying much. That's poor. Derek Barnes, second-year player, 4th-round pick last year. He's competing for that number 2 spot. Also with Jared Davis competing for that number 2 spot. Chris Board, who we picked up for the Baltimore Ravens, he's actually really fast. He's kind of turned some heads a little bit, but we weren't expecting him to be a starter for linebackers. He was a special teams guy. So it's not looking good. It's really not looking good, and I think we're going to get 8 up from the floor up in the middle of the field.
New players, rookies included, who will be the biggest game changer for you? Who is going to help remove this mystique and get you guys over the hump?
You know, I could talk about Aiden Hutchinson. I think that's a normal answer, but I'm going to go with Jameson Williams. I know we did that trade.
It's not nice at all.
This guy is fast. I looked at his tape. Not only is he fast, his route running is unbelievable. His change of pace speed is different level. He knows how to get open. I think he could be a Tyreek Hill for the Detroit Lions in the long haul. Again, we're going to take him slow, but this guy he's an amazing player, and he's going to make some big plays when he is on the field. The play action, the deep pass, it's going to be something to behold when he is available to play.
Yeah, I mean, the worst part about this is Williams was pretty much a lot of the Vikings fans, either their 1 or 2 guy that they wanted. So that's what makes it even worse that he was there. We trade back. You guys get him. So that's the worst part. If this was a guy that we wanted nothing to do with, but this is going to make it painful. We'll see. But I'm glad you didn't go with the Hutchinson route. That was a softball. Sleeper wise, who this year? Who's a guy that somebody might not be coming to see? Might not be a superstar, but he is going to produce for the Lions.
How about safety Deshaun Elliott? We picked him up in free agency again from the Baltimore Ravens. He's actually really good safety for them. He just could not stay healthy. I think if he stays healthy for the Detroit Lions, him and Tracy Walker from a safety position is much improved from what we had last year. I think he's going to turn heads. He's a big, strong safety, a guy that loves to hit. We're finally getting that mentality here in Detroit. I think he's gonna make some noise. And if he does go down, I would say Kirby Joseph. Last year in college, he turned around, got 6 interceptions. The guy's a ball hawk. We upgraded the secondary. It needed to happen, and I think that's going to turn some heads this year.
All right. As always, we're joined with MicroMike. Check him out, Lions Talk with MicroMike. Go give him a sub. Mike Hughes, even in your honor, I switched out the jerseys just to get Hughesy back there. Is he going to start?
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to start. I think he'll be a backup right now. It looks like it's going to be Amani Oruwariye and Jeffrey Okudah is a 1-2, and potentially it could be AJ Parker for that nickel position. We'll see, but I haven't heard a whole lot about him so far in training camp. I've heard about other corners. But if there's injuries, he could start.
All right, you already gave us kind of your estimate as far as prediction, 6-7 wins, somewhere around there. Let's talk NFC just very quickly. Packers, still in your mind, top notch, number one?
Yeah, I have the Packers as the number one team right now in the NFC North. I don't think they're as good as they were last year. Losing Devontae Adams is a big hit. Christian Watson, who they drafted, is not as talented as Devontae Adams, but I still think they're the best team in the NFC North. It's just like Ric Flair says, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Boom. Vikings, what are you thinking? They scaring you? They nothing? What do you got?
I have them as number two. I think that the Minnesota Vikings, right now, they're getting a lot of grief for what their general manager stated about Kirk Cousins, but they still got a great offensive weapons. And Kirk Cousins is underrated, in my opinion. He's a pretty good quarterback. I think their defense got upgraded. I think they land as number two. We'll see if they can make it as a wild card. It's really all, can they get along with their new head coach? Obviously, Mike Zimmer was an issue there. So it's a little bit of question mark, but I still have them number two.
All right. And then Chicago Bears, can we agree that, are they going to be like a 2-win team? What do you got? I think they're going to be absolutely horrible.
I think they're going to be horrible. Their offensive line is the worst in the NFL. They just paid $10 million to Riley Reif, a former Detroit Lions player there, 33 years old. He's not going to do anything for that offensive line. Their wide receivers are awful. Their number two is a 5th-round pick, who I do like in the draft, but he's a 5th-round pick here. They lost Khalil Mack. They lost Robinson. They're just a bad football team. I don't know how Justin Fields can even play for this team. They set this guy up for failure. They're the worst team right now in the NFC North, and they could end up being a top 3 draft pick.
There you have it. MicroMike solidifying that the Bears are cheeks. Remember, hit him up, MicroMike Lions Talk, also on Twitter at MicroMike85. Give him a sub. We will see his face hopefully multiple times throughout the year. MicroMike, well done, sir. Appreciate everything. We'll be keeping our eyes on you.
Hey, you always want to keep my eyes on me. You never know what's going to happen. And, it's kind of weird, though, guy keeping an eye on another guy. But it's all good, man. It's all love.
All right. Thank you, sir.